Trading is a performance skill. Knowing about trading doesn't make you money. By performing trading, you make money. So that means like you have to find a stock, enter, exit. Now, whenever there's a performance kind of a skill, on any given day, if you are not in a proper performance mode, then you can lose money. So it is very essential if you are an active trader to be coming in every day and be in the right kind of a mindset. So in order to do this, there's a technique which I borrowed from the sporting world. uh, all the top players, athletes, they use visualization as a technique for improving their performance, or like making sure that their mind is in the right time mind frame while doing the performance. So same techniques are adapted to the trading and created scripts. Like they create scripts in tennis. Typically when you create scripts, you have to have a short word to describe that script. So because you don't want to be having a phrase kind of a thing, you do have a small word, but that word reminds you of that particular script. So here are some of the scripts which I'm going to show you, which I use. Remember, these scripts are specific to the kind of setups which I trade. These scripts are specific to the way I trade. So this may not be universal. You have to make your own changes, and many of the things which I have, like the acronyms, are going to be very specific to the kind of trading which I do. But given that, still, if you try and understand and do this for your own trading, you might find it's a very good tool for improving performance. So let's look at some of the scripts which I use. And every day morning, I start by looking at these scripts. So one of the scripts is always be in control. ABC is the short form which I use for that. So always be in control is in terms of making sure that everything which is required to trade successfully is working in terms of hardware, software, all the things which are required, so that I don't lose control and have a backup for everything. Controlled risk taking, typically in terms of what it means, is that whenever I'm taking a trade, or whenever I'm looking at what is the risk and what is the reward, or what is the kind of overnight risk I'm going to take depending on the market circumstances. The idea is to always control your risk, because if you control your risk, then you are not going to land up into trouble. Many times I've seen traders take wild risk, or take a risk, put all their account on an idea without a stop, or like kind of hold positions while they keep going down for 50%. 50% or more. I'm looking for a controlled risk taking. I'm looking for a situation where almost there is a very low probability of the setup not working. Primarily, I'm a breakout kind of a trader, both on the long and short side. So whenever I'm trying to do a breakout kind of a trade, finding and entering early is very important, because if you find and enter a setup in the first 10 minutes, it is likely that you're going to make money even on the first day if the setup continues to work. And it is also in line with the research which has been done on breakouts, where most of the bulk of the move on breakouts happens on the first day, and then there is a second and third day follow through. So I try and find and enter early, and that's why in the morning I'm reminding myself to find and enter early. Most of my breakouts I try and buy in the first half an hour, or when I'm doing shorting, I'm looking at doing the same thing. The next script is focus on high price stocks. High price stocks are essentially stocks which have lower volatility. Whenever you study stocks, lower price stocks have higher volatility. So if you're trading lower price stocks, you need to have wider stops. If you're trading higher price stocks, you need lower stops. So because of the size of my account also, I trade higher price stocks. As a result of that, what you will see is that I'm continuously looking at trading higher price stocks with a minimum risk. Whenever you're trading breakouts, selling into strength is a very good strategy, because many breakouts will follow through for 2, 3, 5 days in a right market conditions, and then they'll fade. If you don't sell into strength, then what is going to happen is you are going to give up a lot of the gains which happened. And this is true of even if you're doing it intraday trading. Stock will go up in 15 minutes, and if you don't sell while it is going up or into the strength, then you end up losing all the gains from that particular move. So always try and sell into strength. And I have to remind myself of this particular thing so that I sell into strength. FR20 is a script. Basically, whenever you look at big moves happening in the market or on a stock, they have big volume at the beginning of the move. So FR20 is a script which talks about focus on recent 20 million plus volume breakouts. So if a stock had a huge volume surge and it traded 20 million plus volume, then I try and focus on those stocks for next 5, 6, 10, 15 days, because many times this stock will offer you another opportunity to get in with a lower risk. So FR20 allows you to get into the biggest moves, and typically if you study the biggest moves, they will have those kind of volumes at the beginning of their move. The next one is essentially in the market, three sectors year after year make the biggest moves. Those three sectors are healthcare, technology, and consumer discretionary. And within that, technology sector is the one which makes the biggest move. So whenever I'm looking at breakouts, or whenever I'm looking at anticipation setup, or whenever I'm looking at an episodic pivot setup, I'm primarily focusing on technology, healthcare, and consumer discretionary stocks. Plastics, which is the key word which I use for that particular script, is derived from the movie Graduate, where if you see there is a scene, which is a very famous scene, where one of the friends of his father tells him that, look, plastics, there is a great future in plastics. When the movie came out, plastics was the latest technology of that time. So that's why we use the word plastics as a memory device to remember which sector to focus on. The next script which I use is TT. These are basically scripts for finding low risk entry point or anticipation setups. When you are looking for anticipation setups, I look for things where there is 3 tight days or 2 tight days. Now, BTFD is a script which is overall market script. Basically, whenever the Fed is very active in the market, every time the market dips, if you keep buying the dip, you're likely to make money. And this is very much so in long running bull market. You can always get carried away by negativity. So in order to avoid negativity, you have to remind yourself every day that whenever the market dips, and if the Fed is supportive of the market, then keep buying the dip, and it works very well. Now, BBT is similar to FR20 in the sense, based on studies of stocks which I have done, the biggest moving stocks at the beginning of their big move have very high volume, or high volume surge starts big moves. So that is why big BBT, which stands for Big Bang Theory, at the beginning of a big move, there is a big volume. So I am always focusing on stocks which had extraordinary high volume breakouts, and that's why BBT as a script. The other script, which is 2-lynch, which is a short form, or it is an acronym for the setup conditions which I look for whenever I am buying a breakout. And this is again very specific to the setup which I trade. There is a setup which I trade called momentum burst, and for that particular setup, this is my acronym to as a checklist to look for 2-lynch criteria. So each one of these is a criteria. Similarly, I trade a setup called episodic pivot. For trading episodic pivot, I have a script which is Magna 53 plus cap 10. So these are again criteria. So it's like a checklist. So each one of these words stand for something, and I look for those checklists to be present to consider that particular stock for trading. Then I have an overall trading script which is called FFM. This overall trading script is primarily finding free money. So I'm looking for situations where I can put very close stop. I'm looking for situations where as far as possible I can put 2.5% or less stop. So this FFM as a script reminds me to know, don't go and chase wild breakouts, don't go and put 8%, 10% stop. And as a result of this, I can control my risk. So these visualization script, I start doing this in the morning, first thing. First thing in the morning, I start by visualization. And once I do that is when I'm in the right mood to trade. So if you want to make a lot of money in the market, start using visualization, and you will realize that it can help you in controlling your risk and be on top of your performance.